Hi everyone, let's talk about Pachacuna, which I just finished a full two-player playthrough for. If you haven't seen that yet, it's linked in the description. This video is just what I think about it if you are interested in that. The game is all in action in the playthrough video. So the production and the art, it looks beautiful. The components are all lovely, the lovely llama meeples, the dual layer board as well that's done. We've seen it in things like Maracaibo, the expansion for that, where they do dual layer boards, but rather than kind of, I assume, the expense of making the actual dual layered things, it doesn't show it off the best, I suppose, in an overhead camera. But you punch out all of the various pieces and it tells you where to stick on the extra mountain bits, and comes with loads of little sticky dots to put them on there. So initially there's a bit of preparation time to do that, but once it's all done, you've got these lovely dual layer boards that add to the table presence, but also make it even more apparent which path is which, even more so than just the artwork on the board would be. I think it's a really nice little touch. And again, when you're not playing on camera, you can have all of the flags kind of set up so they can be standing up as well, and the resources, for some reason, them being little oblongs instead of cubes, made me really happy. I don't know why. But the game itself, enough about all of that. All of that's top notch. The bag as well is absolutely lovely. It says, authentic Bolivian bag included. It is top notch. But yes, the game itself, it is a beautiful logistical puzzle where kind of like it's like that game Downfall. It's like a childhood MB game where you had different like cogs to turn, but you were playing on different sides, so you would turn a cog and it might hurt or benefit the other player. It's similar in this. It's more apparent what you are doing, although with such a kind of big array of tiles, you can unintentionally help and sometimes intentionally hurt the other player with what you're doing, because one player walks on the valleys, one player walks on the mountains. So really your ideal thing is to try and forge a path that gets your goods delivered in the most efficient way, whilst if you can disrupt a path that seems like it might be beneficial to the other player, then you might as well do it. You can go for more, I suppose, especially if you can afford it, you can go for a more mean way of playing if you want to, because you can rotate one thing for free every turn, but then pay for as many as you want. So if you do end up with a big surplus of goods, then you could potentially do that, and the other player can't move those tiles again on their next turn. It can get early on, when neither of you got that many resources. You can't really just do things to spite the other player, because the other player could just do that back to you, and then next turn they'll be able to rotate that tile back again. Done in the right way to kind of benefit you, but maybe get in the other player's way a little bit would be the ideal way to do things. And the way the game kind of ramps up from, you both start with useless resources that nobody wants, but delivering them won't gain you anything to your supply, but will gain you a resource that potentially somewhere does want. And it's about kind of looking at where a path can be made with the fewest moves early on, and kind of cities that might be close to each other, or with a nice little route from one to the other. That this one will give you an orange resource, and that city wants an orange resource, and a path is not too far away. I could kind of do it in a couple of turns, and maybe what the other player does on their turn might accidentally make the path a little bit easier for you, or suddenly connect a different city and you can suddenly see a whole new path evolving. It works so well, and the fact that the condition isn't necessarily getting rich. Obviously getting rich is going to really help you, like having those resources, having extra llamas and being able to make multiple deliveries every turn can be really, really useful. But you have to basically get and deliver a resource from every village on the board. So not only have you got to vary up the deliveries that you are going to make, but also the routes. You can't just kind of go back and forth with 2 or 3 villages connected. You can kind of do that. You are at the mercy of the demand tiles. There's no point. You can't really make much of a profit or a profit at all if the village doesn't want that resource. You're just kind of dumping that resource and getting the resource of the village. But because you need all 7 of those colors, you're going to have to, break away from your pattern. You're going to have to make some deliveries that are a bit suboptimal just to get the resource you need to advance you a little bit more. It can be worth early on, dumping resources that are very useful. They are the colors that you need. But if you get rid of 4 of them, you could have another llama. And doing that early on, especially if the other player doesn't do it for a while, can give you a massive advantage. Although at the same time, if you still aren't getting the different colors that you need while the other player is plodding along and just getting a different one every time, it can go in very different ways. And yeah, the core puzzle of how to navigate these tiles works really, really well. But you can see it all in action in the playthrough itself, which will be linked very, very shortly or in the description now. Thanks for watching this. I've got hundreds of playthroughs on the channel if you would like to see some more, and yeah, subscribe and press that bell that YouTube always wants you to on back, and you'll find out when I've done a new one. It's quite often. I'll see you for the next game though. Bye everyone.